Brazil, you're a dump. All you filthy animals suck. No, just kidding, guys. We love Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and we love Oliveira Gamrot, okay? Little Brazilian stinker card here. We're going to rapid fire through this. Just some stinker prelims. 1 or 2 decent prospects on this thing that I actually care about. And an interesting main card. A couple good fights on the main card here. We got the ghost of Charles Oliveira. Yeah, after getting live executed by Ilia Topuria, really hard to feel confident in a Charles Oliveira pick here. So we can go through his very lengthy, tenured UFC career all we want, all his featherweight success, all this sort of stuff. I don't want to gloss over it too much and really get into the weeds here, as Tracy would say. He's kind of going win-loss now, and I don't like that for a guy like Charles. Like, he had his bounce-back moment moving up to lightweight after getting dummied by Paul Felder, went on his crazy run, career from Charles Oliveira. It's kind of coming to an end, no? Like, it's all well and good to, be finished a few times in your 20s. But now in his mid-30s, Charles Oliveira, I worry about his durability massively, even into a MATEUSZ Gamrot matchup, who, say what you want about his, the way his stand-up looks. It's a little slimy, it's a little with Gamrot, but he's got Polish telekinesis, guys. Just dismantled Ludovic Klein, who is in his prime, physical threat. And that's really what it's going to take from MATEUSZ Gamrot here, is heavy wrestling to really avoid a lot of threats with Charles Oliveira, because he is still dangerous, big time. And we saw Gamrot really struggle with Dan Hooker's problematic frame, went into depth on this in the Any Good video, really sussed it out. It's kind of low-key a Gamrot win, but he did get hurt on a few occasions, so optically it has to go to Dan Hooker there. No issue with it, but it is what it is. Stinker with Beneil Dariush, where he grappled too much, made it way too competitive there with, a gray-haired Dariush, just an old uncle Iranian man. Really fumbled that one. But Dan Hooker is in his physical prime, and I think he has underrated punch power. I think he's just as live for a finish here. Just because he doesn't have the crazy long record of Oliveira, and you don't see all these clutch submission victories, doesn't mean that Gamrot can't, pull it off. And I'm going to take him here. It's a short notice affair, so it's risky either way, but I'm going to lean on the guy who is a lot less damage prone. Oliveira, say what you want about his incredible finishing records. Dude's been finished too many times, so we got to go gamer. We ride with the gamer tonight. Or I guess Saturday night. Davison, Figueiredo, Montel, Jackson. Weird, goofy matchup that I never could have predicted in a million years. Figueiredo sort of, went on that crazy flyweight run, really just dwarfing these little boy flyweights. Like little boy Benavidez gets completely smashed and physicality mogged, strength mogged by Figueiredo. Those days are kind of over. Did have a win over Marlon Vera, that's pretty impressive, but Vera doesn't get going quick enough, and I don't think is as much of a dangerous puncher as a Montel Jackson. First of all, look at this disgusting reach disadvantage. This is literally middleweight or welterweight reach on a bantamweight Montel Jackson. Devastating one-punch KO over Damone Blackshear and Ronnie Yahya, who's kind of a grandpa out there. But still, the main criticism is inactivity for Montel Jackson, but at least he does show up looking better every time. And the Daniel Marcos win was interesting. They really decided to wrestle a lot, and he had to defend a lot of takedowns, but at the end of the day, got it done. His hands are heavyweight size. This dude is super problematic. Nice, clean, crispy record for Montel Jackson. And he's younger than Figueiredo, and in his last fight, Figueiredo got his knee blown out, okay? He sustained a pretty horrific injury back in May, so there's not a lot of confidence there. Yes, he's a former champion and reached the peak of the sport, but I just think at this point in time, Montel Jackson's probably primed and ready to go off a full camp, and Figueiredo's not at his best. And it is a bantamweight step down. I still think Montel Jackson will fluke a KO or coast to a decision and, piss off the crowd. Probably get scalped and drugged by the Brazilian crowd afterwards. Vicente, Luque, Yoel Alvarez. the Silent Assassin really doesn't paint a clear picture for Vicente Luque. He had so much success being a brawler, but now the durability's gone, so those days are kind of over for Vicente Luque, and he has to get by on skill now, and it's not going too well at all. Also got out-techniqued by Bilal Muhammad, subbed by Kevin Holland, and a Buckley loss in there that looked just awful, so not a whole lot of things to trust out of the game of Vicente Luque anymore. His past was amazing. It was violent, it was wild, back-and-forth fights. Those days are over. You can tell by the record, 23-11. He's letting it slip. Could retire any day now with the damage he's sustained with the brain injury, courtesy of Jeff Neal's crazy one-punch power. Yoel Alvarez is a gigantic lightweight, and normally I would be a little cautious of a lightweight making that welterweight jump, as it is a 15-pound difference, jumping from lightweight to welterweight, but Yoel Alvarez was a weight bully, man. Made Drakkar Klose look small. Elvis Brenner looked just like a pipsqueak out there. So, yeah, he's making the right decision moving to welterweight. I think he'll really, really excel in these striker matchups. It's just maybe we'll see some welterweight grapplers really give Alvarez problems. But we'll see. We'll pick Alvarez in the matchup to land a nasty finish. Probably TKO. JHONATA DINIZ, Mario Pinto. Neat little heavyweight prospect fight. Interesting stuff. Similar records, similar height and build. I just like JHONATA DINIZ's kickboxing acumen. Seems like Mario Pinto is going to come out there and try and box and really get by on this on these physical attributes. All we've really seen from him is single shots, which you can get by on at heavyweight, but I'm just not the biggest fan of into a JHONATA DINIZ matchup where he's been exposed on the ground and stuff takedowns from Lane, from Carl Williams. So grappling, I think this guy's kind of seen the worst. He got brutally fraud checked by, Flabby, Tybura. Wasn't the biggest fan of that. I think I had that predicted. No, I wasn't picking fights back 309. That was actually a while ago, that fraud check. So he's grown from that. He pieced up this Goozy Alvin Hines, this skinhead juice monkey. Yeah, got past him easily. So beat a guy on steroids last time out. I think DINIZ has underrated fight IQ, and he will kickbox Mario Pinto. He'll kick the calf, he'll mix it up, he'll just be a bit more dynamic. Mario Pinto, I think, is only going to throw single shots and fall behind in Brazil. So we'll go JHONATA DINIZ by any method. Probably decision, honestly, over Pinto, just getting a little bit more done. Ramos KAAN OFLI, not much to really break down. Ricardo Ramos is a guy that has hung on to his job, and props to him because he can pull finishes out of absolutely nowhere. 2 spinning back elbows, Danny Chavez, and fluking one big time over Amian Zahabi, who is very credentialed, like a MMA mastermind, being coached by Firas Zahabi. So absolutely fluked a spinning back elbow there. And that really got his career started, but has shown to be weak, flimsy, low gas tank. There's a lot of things and a lot of problems with Ramos. Nearly was finished about a dozen times to Chepe Mariscal. But to his credit, he did hang on. He didn't break and wither completely, but horribly outstruck by Mariscal. KAAN OFLI, on the other hand, I don't know too much about the guy. I saw him being slept on The Ultimate Fighter, never a good look. But if we're being honest, to go on The Ultimate Fighter, first of all, it's retarded. You have to cut weight 3 or 4 times. You have to fight back to back to back. It's just a bad career move, but it's a good physical test, I guess. I guess it really tests your mental, your physical grit, everything, because it's so brutal and the rules are stupid. Almost beat Muhammad Naimov last time out. Bit of a physicality diff. I think Muhammad Naimov dwarfed him a little bit on size. I'll have to go rewatch, but was the more accurate striker in that matchup, just a little bit too out-controlled, by Naimov, who is a cheater, who is big and physical. I like that he's put the rounds in against a Naimov. I like this 15 minutes of work more than Ricardo Ramos's flukester career. So we're going to go KAAN OFLI. Don't think Ramos is a big Brazilian prospect that we need to be worried about here. Lucas Almeida, Michael ASWELL. ASWELL is a Texas product. Heavy bag, boxer, not a lot of skill, weak physicality. Has good volume, yes. but has zero ability to find the finish. Strikes absorbed per minute 8, guys. Like, he has just put on 2 back and forth bangers. He walks right into the pocket. He's willing to be a heavy bag to land his pitter patter. Lucas Almeida just seems more dynamic to me. He is 2-4 in the UFC, so it's hard to really make an argument for him, but he has a finish. He has 2 convincing decisions to Timmy Kwamba, which he won, and to Danny Silva, which he almost won, fell behind on volume. Danny Silva is, I think, just a level above the boxer of a Michael ASWELL. Sharper, more composed, better defense, and comes from better camp. So I like Lucas Almeida here to just get violent, catch Michael ASWELL with something, pounce on a finish, and get it done. ASWELL's not a physical opponent. All he has is a bit of volume. I don't think Almeida will really suffer there. I think he'll catch him and hurt him before it turns into this volume battle that ASWELL pulls ahead on. So we're going to go Lucas Almeida. JAFEL FILHO, Clayton Carpenter. I'm a big fan of JAFEL FILHO's moments. His fight style, not really. Moments like his 3rd round KO on Dana White's Contender Series. That was beautiful. Ripping apart Muhammad Makayev's knee. Like, these are high aura moments. Even subbing Osborne is pretty damn underrated. Didn't absorb a single strike in that fight. Then we see him go against a capable grappler and get shut down. Unanimous decision by Alan Nascimento, who's inactive. Yeah, hadn't fought in 2 years and then comes in and just shuts down FILHO. I do not like that at all. It's easy to get behind him because of the moments. I'm not going to fall for it. We're going to go Clayton Carpenter, who I think is just a better product and is going to come in leveled up and gone through a good growth period after losing to Tagir Ulanbekov, which was a massive step up. Yes, he lost pretty badly, but the strikes were close. But going from Lucas Rocha, who we'll talk about later in the video, has a padded record, and then going to Tagir Ulanbekov, that's a huge jump, so I'm not going to fault Clayton Carpenter for slipping on that one. And before that, he was 3-0, has a unanimous decision victory over Edgar Chairez, who people like. I'm not the biggest fan, but he is a pretty capable flyweight, so we will go Clayton Carpenter to win by decision over FILHO by not being hurt on the feet and not falling into a sub and pulling ahead on numbers on JAFEL FILHO, who, yes, has good moments, but in all the in-between with FILHO, I don't like his game. He doesn't get enough done. So we're going to go Carpenter there. Vitor Petrino, Thomas Petersen. This is really hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby. Yeah, what can we say? First of all, Vitor Petrino, yes, has a couple bad losses to Anthony Smith and Jacoby, just kind of meatheads on the feet. And then moved to heavyweight and looked very, very leveled up. I loved what I saw against Austin Lane and him not just chucking bombs at heavyweight and actually using his physicality, his grappling gifts to get an easy sub win. He should really look to replicate that over Thomas Petersen, who is honestly, I know he doesn't look it, kind of athletic, capable boxer, good defense, somewhat. I know he just got starched by Gaziev. 6'1" at heavyweight is pretty short. He's short and stout. He can wrestle a little bit, 100% takedown defense. I think Petrino's physical enough to like literally pick him up off the ground and slam him and just get to work with BJJ. I think Petersen gets done in bad here. He just seems like a win-loss fighter. Yeah, Dontel Mays landed 3 strikes across 15 minutes because Petersen was able to ground him and completely shut everything down. He's not doing that to Vitor Petrino, I'm sorry. Petrino will always have the physical edge against every opponent. He's like the heavyweight. I mean, Jailton Almeida is heavyweight. Like, they have such a similar build, this crazy, jacked Brazilian, juiced up physicality. Should have no issue with Thomas Petersen, who was just bombed out by Shamil Gaziev. Like, that was just brutal shit. And I didn't like the body language either. He ate the punch and dropped, and he wasn't even unconscious because he threw his mouthpiece out of his mouth. And then the ref stopped it. Like, how about you, like, just show us some better body language? Like, have better body language when you get dropped, and the ref won't jump in like that. Maybe you'll get a second chance. Fight for your life. Didn't work. Petersen looked awful getting KO'd like that. Seems like he'll get KO'd again. So, Petrino by finish is the pick. I think it's pretty obvious. Bia Mesquita, Irina Alekseeva. Bia Mesquita is a pretty good-looking grappling lady. She is going to be grapple or bust. She comes from BJJ. She has only done grappling tournaments and crushed some cans with submissions. But I think she can get it done because Irina Alekseeva is role-playing out there. 5-3 record, goes by Russian Ronda. Complete role player can. Yeah, some women just find their way into the UFC. She does have a knee bar over Stephanie Egger. Weird little thing. Where is Egger nowadays? I think she's cut, honestly, or she left the sport. She's old. 8-5 herself. We got to go be a MESQUITA because this will probably just quickly turn into a grappling fight, and she has tons and tons of experience. I don't think Irina Alekseeva is the one to like actually make it dirty, and where we've seen some fighters like make it dirty and ugly and really beat these grappler bust women or anybody, even like the guy that Martin Boudet destroyed. Like they can't get their sub, they gas out, they look like shit, they can't fight. Irina Alekseeva is not going to do that. She's role-playing out there. So we're going to go Bia MESQUITA with the win. Successful debut. Lucas Rocha, Stuart NICOLL. I'm not a Lucas Rocha believer. He had a crazy jump knee KO on the Contender Series, but after that, lost to Clayton Carpenter quite convincingly with a tapping out to a rear naked choke. He does not look 17-2, guys. He looks tiny. He looks really weak and unassuming out there. And Stuart NICOLL got given way too tough of an opponent to debut against. Jesus Aguilar has had like 6 or 7 UFC fights against decent comp at flyweight. So I don't think we really got to see Stuart NICOLL's full skill set. I said something similar with Colby Thickness, how he got Tapiria's brother for his debut. Why would you take that? And like we didn't get to see his full skill set, and then he won his next fight. So I think something similar will happen with NICOLL, where we get to see him go the distance properly because Rocha will not instantly finish him. Maybe he will. We'll see. 8-1. We got to find out with him. But I think he's better than what he looked like in the debut. We're gonna go Stuart NICOLL because I'm not a Lucas Rocha believer. Valter Walker Mo Usman. Valter Walker is insane with the heel hooks, guys. When he's not submitting somebody and completely embarrassing them in the first round, he doesn't look the best out there. He looks clumsy. Like you got to see him gas out and have to strike against Lucas Brzeski. Like in transition, like he was so gassed out. Like when Brzeski did finally get space, Walker looked pathetic. This is arguably like a robbery. Like Brzeski didn't really do anything either. But it was a red flag, man. I didn't like it at all. It was a bad gas out performance, but I think against Mo Usman, even if Valter Walker does gas out, Mo Usman is not the type of guy to punish him really, and he's had that embarrassing moment of losing to Brzeski, fumbling the debut, whereas Mo Usman was gifted a 3-fight win streak fighting just complete fatties, like Ultimate Fighter bum, and then 2 fatties getting that Usman privilege into the UFC, and we've really found out that he's not about that. He lost to Mick Parkin, Thomas Peterson right after by unanimous decision. So he had 3 rounds to turn those around, and he didn't. He's kind of incapable on the feet there. And then he beat a role player, Hamdi Abdel Wahab. Big, fat, slimy, role-playing Egyptian man. We're going to go Valter Walker. I love the momentum. He shows up for a quick night at the office. He's super skilled at BJJ. Ripped apart 3 legs last time. Triple heel hook is just devastating. Mo Usman will never smell a finish like that in his life. So we're going to go Valter Walker to pick it up in Brazil. Julia Palastri, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Julia Palastri's got incredible volume. She's a gamer as well. She goes. Super close fight with Lupigo DINIZ. She almost snuck the win here. Got taken down a bunch, but then just had a nightmare 3rd round. Really tried to get it back for herself. I love that. A little weak and unassuming as well, but is what it is. Love the output. Karolina Kowalkiewicz has been done. Got given some OnlyFans models to, have a little fake career resurgence. This is super fraudulent. She's been done, guys. She's never really had like a UFC career. Like, I don't know how she got like a JHONATA title fight 3 in. Really, really weird shit. Yeah, she's always been a bit of a fraudster. Back when I started watching the sport, 2016, guys, I'm a hardcore, when she took on Heather Clark. No, it just doesn't do damage. Super unserious, can't smell a finish. She will not beat Julia Pilastri. Will not happen unless Pilastri, like, freak injuries. Pilastri's good. She's a little mini gangster. She goes out there. She can get subs. We've seen that in her career. She's young. Pretty damn small, but she goes. Doesn't have a cardio problem. She can grapple. So we'll go Pilastri. And cans, opening up the card. Luan Lacerda, Simon Oliveira. 2 losers. Do not have a UFC win yet. We're going to go Luan Lacerda because he's been in the cage with Damone Blackshear. That's literally what we have to base this off of because they're both kind of grapple or bust duds. Luan Lacerda, I think these 12 wins are all submissions, so he's a little sub or bust. And Simon Oliveira is so weak and unassuming. Got walked down and finished by Daniel Marcos, and Marcos has kind of always been a little bit of a pipsqueak volume guy, split decisioner, so it's tough. We'll go Luan Lacerda off of vibes for the prelim opener, is what it is. So yeah, stinky Brazil card, it's interesting. We'll get you guys a quick little, 320 recap. Incredible blockbuster pay-per-view. We needed this, we've been waiting for this. Like, soak this in. Like, we have to sit through so many Apex shitters that do not feel bad. When a good pay-per-view comes around, absolutely soak it up. This was amazing. This was incredible. Pereira's stunner elbows. That was brutal shit. I knew he'd get it done with a KO, just not that early. But he ramped up the aggression, and it really paid off, and I'm proud of him. That was amazing. So happy he's still in the sport, doing great things. Thought Corey Sandhagen would really get more aggressive and take more risk. Like, where are the flying knees? Where are the Hail Mary subs? That's what we need against Merab. We need stupid risk. Like, you have to be... The only way to beat Merab is by being stupid. Like, but nobody's willing to do it and look silly on live TV. That's the only way to beat Merab. That is his Achilles heel. You got to be willing to be dumb to beat Merab, and no one's willing to do it. Khalil Roundtree Jr. had a great performance. It was awesome. Those first 2 rounds, he was great. The only problem is this right here, his strike accuracy is getting pretty shit. He kind of just wings bombs and hopes for the best. I thought he would get it done. I'm a fool. I should have really dug into this stat. But he was kind of about to win on volume, right? Like, I don't know. Yuri took so many clean shots and just walked through him. He's just a juggernaut. I love Yuri Prochazka, absolutely. It sucked to pick against him, but that was my gut feeling, is that Khalil was going to just bonk and win in like round 1 or 2. But Yuri did his thing, man. He's a friggin' marauder out there. He's a marauder. Yusuf Zalal, easy, crispy win by sub. Pfeiffer, same thing. After a rocky first round with Abbas. All good there. Abbas is good in the first round, so no shame there. Jusang Yu fumbled against this midget. Patchy Mix, we've predicted the Patchy Mix downfall massively. Yeah, you gotta wait for him to like prove it back to you that he's legit in the UFC. This guy was a KSW champion. He's on the same level as Mix, and so how anyone could confidently pick Patchy Mix from this point forward is just retarded. Edmund Shabazian, Pinelli Soriano, we had them picked as well. Some decent guys at Extreme. Wish they would leave Extreme and get head coaches and, like, I don't know, get picked up by a better coach. Don't trust Eric Nixick anymore. Chasson fumbled against this granny. That was awful. Basharat Gutierrez, most boring fighters on the roster. Leg kick merchants. Won't take a single risk. Basharat had him hurt and just took his foot off the gas. Doesn't even want finishes. Boring as fuck. Brahamaj Vanderford. We had Vanderford, but Brahamaj did make him look Bellator out there. Kicked him in the head. Pounced a sub. So props to Brahamaj, but he is not going to climb welterweight. Welterweight is way too stacked right now, so Brahamaj ain't going anywhere, but props on the win. Good stuff. Didn't get a performance bonus. Oh well. And Veronica Hardy's looking good out there. Props to Brogan Walker. I think she popped her arm or something and pushed through it. That's probably your retirement fight. You look like garbage. Props to Veronica Hardy. She's super like disciplined and everything's proper with Hardy. She actually doesn't make a lot of mistakes. It's just she's pretty small and yeah, that's kind of her issue. But very disciplined, very smart fighter. Yeah, UFC 320 was dope, dude. Absolutely dope. It is in the past, sadly. We're getting cooking with Oliveira Gamrot, guys, in the beautiful, pristine, serene Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where the streets are free of trash and the people greet you with a hello every good morning, and their food and drink aren't tainted with Fent. It's going to be a good one, guys. Props to Gamrot. Really hope he doesn't get spit on and scalped out there in the streets. Hopefully he just goes in there, deals with Oliveira, and then gets back to the States. So great card. Can't wait to watch it, guys. As always, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.